Hi everyone. First of all, I'm extremely sorry I forgot to upload third lecture of laws of motion, that is last lecture. Right now we are doing that one only. In previous lectures of laws of motion, we discussed till head-on collision and its application, like velocities before collision, velocities after collision, coefficient of restitution and its values. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about impulse, moment of force, couple, moment of couple, center of mass and center of gravity with mechanical equilibrium concept. Let's start. First of all, we are going to discuss about momentum and impulse theorem. The impulse due to all forces acting on an object is equal to the change in momentum of the object. That is, Ft is equal to delta P. We know the units of both sides of the equation are the same, but to prove this theorem, F into T, we know F is equal to ma, so it will become mat. Then A stands for acceleration, so it's delta V upon delta T, that is m delta V upon T into T. T gets cancelled, remaining part m delta V, that is delta P. So in this way, this theorem is called as impulse momentum theorem. According to Newton's first law of motion, any unbalanced force changes linear momentum of the system. That is, basic effects of an unbalanced force is to change the momentum. Therefore, the quantity change in momentum is separately named as impulse of force. According to force into time, unit of this is Newton second. Why we require impulse concept? If a force is constant over a given interval of time, or if we know how it varies with time, we can calculate the corresponding change in momentum directly by multiplying force by time. In many cases, an appreciable force acts for an extremely small interval of time. Change in momentum due to this force is noticeable and can be measured. This change is defined as impulse of force. Impulse is a way to measure a change in momentum because it is not always possible to calculate force and time individually since collision happens so fast. A change in momentum in a short time requires a large force. A change in momentum in a long time requires a small force. Impulse can be defined as the product force acting on an object and the time during which the force acts. You can see it over here. For example, a 50 Newton force is applied to a 100 kg boulder for 3 seconds. The impulse can be calculated as force into time. यहाँ पे जो मास दिया हुआ है, don't get confused. We required only force and time to calculate impulse. So 50 into 3, that is 150 Newton second. Impulse can be expressed in kg meter per second also. तो यहाँ पे आपको ध्यान रखना है, न्यूटन सेकेंड आप लिख सकते हो kg मीटर पर सेकेंड के साथ भी. Next concept we are going to discuss over here, that is rotational analog of a force, that is moment of force or a torque. Torque or moment of force refers to the turning effect of the force upon a body about a point. It is the product of magnitude of force and perpendicular distance from the line of action of the force to the fulcrum. This perpendicular distance is called moment arm or lever arm. The greater the distance from the axis to the point where we apply the force, the greater the torque. Maximum torque occurs when the direction of the applied force is perpendicular to a line drawn between the axis and the point where the force is applied. Just go through that once. When the line and force are in the same direction so that the force acts directly towards or away from the axis of rotation, there is no torque. According to mathematical equation, torque is equal to force into moment arm. Quantity, the moment of force or torque, can be defined as the rotational analog of force. As rotation refers to direction, torque must be vector quantity in its mathematical form. It is given by vector τ is equal to vector r cross vector f. It shows that rotational ability of a force not only depends on mass but also depends on point of application of the force and the angle between direction of the force and the line joining the axis of rotation with the point of application. Therefore, we can write magnitude of torque is given by τ is equal to according to cross product Rf sin theta, where theta is the smaller angle between the directions of vector r and vector f. There are few consequences also for this. First one, if r or f is greater, the torque is greater. Thus, it is recommended to apply the force away from the hinges. If theta is equal to 90 degree, then τ is equal to τ max is equal to Rf because sin 90 is 1. Thus, the force should be applied along normal direction for easy rotation. Third, if theta is equal to 0 degree or 180 degree, τ is minimum, that is 0, because of sin 0 or sin 180 is 0. Thus, if the force is applied parallel or anti-parallel to r bar, there is no rotation. Last, moment of force depends not only on the magnitude and direction of the force, but also on the point where the force acts with respect to the axis of rotation. Same force can have different torque as per its point of application. I hope you understood. Just go through that once. There are few conditions for a body to be in equilibrium under the influence of force. The sum of the forces pulling the body in one direction must equal the sum of forces pulling the body in opposite direction. Over and all, the summation of overall force is equal to 0. The second one, the sum of moments tending to rotate the body clockwise about a point must equal the sum of moments tending to rotate the body counterclockwise about the same point. It's mistake over here. Counter एक बार clockwise, one time anti-clockwise. Overall momentum is 0. That is law of moment. We already had discussion on this during practical of law of moment. As a consequence of Newton's second law, the momentum of system is constant in the absence of external unbalanced force. This state is called as mechanical equilibrium, and these two are conditions or consequence for that equilibrium. Next point, couple and its torque and moment of couple. Definitely we are going to discuss. In the concept of torque, we had considered rotation of a body about fixed axis and due to a single force. But if we consider there are two equal and opposite forces acting along different lines of action in order to cause rotation, At that time, such pair of forces consisting of two forces of equal magnitude acting in opposite directions along with different lines of action called as couple. It is used to realize a purely rotational motion. Moment of couple or rotational effect of the couple is also called torque. So couple is defined as two parallel forces with the same magnitude but oppositely directed, separated by a perpendicular distance d. The moment of couple is defined as, again it's r cross f using vector analysis, vector r cross vector f, and m naught is equal to f cross d. It is in a scalar form. Here r is any position vector from the line of action of f to the line of action of minus f. Moving towards next point, what is moment of couple? The net external effect of a couple is that the net force equal to 0 and the magnitude of net moment equals to ft. Since the moment of couple depends only on the distance between the forces, the moment of couple is a free vector. It can be moved anywhere on the body and have the same external effect on the body. Moments due to couples can be added using the same rules as adding any vector. Let us discuss about concepts of couple properties and effect. In mechanics, a couple is a system of force with a resultant moment but no resultant force. A better term is force couple or pure moment. Its effect is to create rotation without translation or more generally without any acceleration of the center of mass. In rigid body mechanics, force couples are free vectors, meaning their effects on the body are independent of the point of application. The resultant moment of couple is called torque. Torque has special properties that moment does not have. In particular, the property of being independent of reference point as described below. Going through this, we are going to discuss about few concepts or types of equilibrium. Stability of unconcentrated submerged bodies in fluid. The equilibrium of a body submerged in liquid requires that the weight of the body acting through its center of gravity should be collinear with an equal hydrostatic lift acting through the center of buoyancy. In general, if the body is not homogeneous in the distribution of mass over the entire volume, the location of center of gravity G does not coincide with the center of volume. Depending upon the relative locations of G and B, a floating or submerged body attains three different states of equilibrium. As per potential energy wise, there are three different cases. One is stable equilibrium, one is unstable equilibrium, and third one is neutral equilibrium. If we consider a body returns to its original position by retaining the originally vertical axis as vertical, then that is called as stable equilibrium. If it is distributed slightly from its equilibrium position and released, the body tends to recover its position. In this case, potential energy of the system is at its local minimum. This is called as stable equilibrium. Second, unstable equilibrium. If body is slightly disturbed from its equilibrium position, it moves further from that position. This happens because initially potential energy of the system is at the local maximum. If disturbed, it tries to achieve the configuration of minimum potential energy. Therefore, if the body does not return to its original position but moves further from it, it is called as unstable equilibrium. Third one, neutral equilibrium. Potential energy of the system is constant over a plane and remains same at any position. Therefore, even if the body is disturbed, it still remains in equilibrium at particularly any position. This is described as neutral position. If body neither returns to its original position nor increases its displacement further, it will simply adopt its new position called as neutral equilibrium. Go through that. Just read it out within 1 minute. Next concept, familiar concept to all of us, that is center of mass. Newton's laws of motion and many other laws are applicable for point masses only. In real life, we always come across finite objects. This concept helps us in considering these objects to be point objects at a particular locations, thereby allowing us to apply Newton's laws of motion. As a history, the concept of center of mass was first introduced by the ancient Greek mathematician, physicist and engineer Archimedes. Archimedes showed that the torque exerted on a lever by weights resting at various points along the lever is the same as what it would be if all the weights were moved to a single point, their center of mass. In the Middle Ages, theories on the center of mass were further developed by Abu Rayyan Biruni, Zakaria Razi, Omkar Khayyam and Al-Khazani. The center of mass is the point where all the masses of the object is concentrated. The center of mass is function only of the positions and the masses of the particles that compose the system. The center of mass is often called the center of gravity, but this is only true in the system where the gravitational forces are uniform. The center of mass of two-particle system lies on the line connecting the particle. The center of mass is closer to more massive objects. If the center of mass is a point within the object's actual structure, then the object can be balanced at that point. The center of mass of a rectangle is at the intersection of two diagonals. If a rigid body is projected through the air, its center of mass will follow a natural parabolic arc. According to these systems, let's go through mathematical understanding of center of mass. For two masses m1 and m2, the center of mass is given by m1 x1 plus m2 x2 upon m1 plus m2. For many particles, the center of mass can be written as, we can write it for x, y, z all, summation of mi xi, where I goes to 1 to n, divided by summation of mi, where I goes to 1 to n. Similarly, for y, we can write its mi yi, and for z, we can write its mi zi. There are three types. For 1D center of mass exercise, let's find the center of mass of three particles. You can see it over here. One is of 1 kg, one is of 4 kg, one is of 2 kg. Now it's m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3 divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3. We can see first particle is at 0th position. So mass m1 is 1, x1 distance is 0, plus second particle is at 2 meter, so 4 into 2. Third particle is at 5 meter, so it's 2 into 5, divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3, so 1 plus 4 plus 2. Overall, 18 upon 7, that is 2.57 meter. Next, center of mass 3D. In 3D dimensions, the same equations apply. We already had discussion on this, that is x, y, z. We are taking x components, y component and z component. Equations are same, summation of mi xi upon summation of mi, where I goes to 1 to n. For y, summation of mi yi divided by summation of mi, again where I goes to 1 to n. Third one, summation of mi zi divided by summation of mi I goes to 1 to n. For solid bodies, for an infinite number of individual particles, we can write summation of mi xi divided by summation of mi I goes to 1 to n. Replace summation with integrals, we will get integration of x dm upon integration of dm. Integration of dm is overall mass of the body. It will turn as a capital M. So remaining part is integration of x dm divided by capital M. When we use density, then delta M will turn as delta V into rho. So equation becomes summation of x rho delta V upon capital M. Now 1 upon m is constant, in bracket x dm, in place of dm rho dv, rho upon m constant, integration part x dv, 1 upon v constant, integration part x dv. So we can say that we will integrate over solid objects when we get to en m. In this way you can find out center of mass of any quantity with any application with any condition. Moving towards last point of this chapter, center of gravity. But before that, we are going to discuss about few applications of center of mass, that is velocity of center of mass, acceleration and its characteristics. For that, we'll go through textbook. How to calculate velocity of center of mass? Let us consider V1, V2 and Vn be the velocities of system of point masses m1, m2 up to mn. Velocity of center of mass is given by linear momentum divided by total mass, that is summation of mi vi I goes to 1 to n divided by capital M is equal to weighted average of momenta. X, Y, Z components of V bar can be obtained similarly. ये जो हमने x के लिए लिया है वही हम y के लिए ले सकते हैं, वही हम z के लिए ले सकते हैं. How we calculate acceleration? In place of velocity, just turn that as a acceleration. It will become summation of ma divided by m I goes to 1 to n. As we all know, ma is force. So resultant force upon total mass, again it's weighted average of force. There are few characteristics also. You have to learn it from textbook itself. There is no choice, because the question may arise as like write any 5, any 6, any 8 characteristics of center of mass. It is the hypothetical point at which entire mass of the body can be assumed to be concentrated. Center of mass is a location. It's not a physical quantity. Center of mass is a particle equivalent to any object for applying laws of motion. Center of mass is the point at which, if a force is applied, it causes only linear acceleration and not angular acceleration. Center of mass is located at the centroid for a rigid body of uniform density. Center of mass is located at the geometrical center for the symmetry rigid body of uniform density. Location center of mass can be changed only by an external unbalanced force. Internal forces never change the location of center of mass. Position of center of mass depends only upon the distribution of mass. For a system of particles, the center of mass need not coincide with any of the particles. While balancing an object on a pivot, the line of action of weight must pass through the center of mass and the pivot. Center of mass of the system of only two particles divides the distance between the particles in an inverse ratio of their masses. Center of mass is a point about which summation of moment of masses in the system is 0. If there is an axial symmetry for a given object, the center of mass lies on the axis of symmetry. If there are multiple axes of symmetry for a given object, the center of mass is at their point of intersection. Center of mass need not be within the body. So these all are characteristics of center of mass. आप सोचो ये सारे के सारे कैरेक्टरिस्टिक आए कहाँ से है? ये पूरे के पूरे कैरेक्टरिस्टिक अभी तक जो हमने मैथमेटिकल एक्सप्रेशन देखा, अभी तक हमने जो हिस्ट्री देखा, हमने जो बेसिक कंसेप्ट देखा, अभी जो हमने डेफिनेशन देखा, अकॉर्डिंग टू दीज ऑल थिंग्स सारा का सारा कैरेक्टरिस्टिक फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट करके आपके सामने लाया गया है. सो जस्ट गो थ्रू दैट. You have to learn it word to word from your textbook. You don't have any choice for that because of you cannot change wording of statement, laws and definitions as well as the characteristics in your paper. Last point from the chapter, that is center of gravity. In physics, an imaginary point in a body of matter where for convenience in certain calculations, the total weight of the body may be thought to be concentrated. The concept is sometimes useful in designing static structures or in predicting the behavior of moving body when it is acted on by gravity. When a drum is stood on end, its center of gravity is firmly supported and the drum is in stable equilibrium. If the drum is tilted slightly to either side, the pull of gravity on this center creates a torque or turning force around the new point of support and pulls the drum back to the stable position. A drum balanced on its rim, it is unstable equilibrium. Even a tiny displacement will create a torque what will turn the drum further from the unstable position. ये एग्जाम्पल हमने क्यों दिया? बिकॉज ऑफ इन अ यूनिफॉर्म ग्रेविटेशनल फील्ड द सेंटर ऑफ ग्रेविटी इज आइडेंटिकल टू द सेंटर ऑफ मास, अ टर्म प्रेफर्ड बाय द फिजिसिस्ट. The two do not always coincide. However, for example, the moon's center of mass is very close to its geometrical center, but its center of gravity is slightly displaced towards Earth because of the stronger gravitational force on the moon's near side. The location of the body's center of gravity may coincide with the geometric center of the body, especially in symmetrically shaped object composed of the homogeneous material. An asymmetrical object composed of a variety of materials with the different masses, however, is likely to have a center of gravity located at some distance from its geometric center. In some cases, such as hollow bodies or irregularly shaped objects, the center of gravity may occur in space at the point external to the physical material. For example, we can take in the center of a tennis ball or between the legs of a chair. The center of gravity of any body can also be determined by a simple physical procedure. For example, for the plate, the center point G can be located by suspending the plate by a cord attached at a point A and then by a cord attached at point C. When the plate is suspended from A line AD is vertical. When it's suspended from C, the line CE is vertical. The center of gravity is at the intersection of AD and CE. When the object is suspended from any single point, its center of gravity lies directly beneath that point. We discussed these all things about this diagram. Let's go through again. For a plate in the figure, the point G is to be located. ये दिया हुआ है. Then आपको एक diagram बना के दिया है. From A, the line AD is vertical. You can see. After that, when it is suspended from C, the CE is vertical. You can see. The center of gravity is at intersection of AD and CE. AD and C के intersection पे क्या हुआ है? Center of gravity है. When the object is suspended from any single point, its center of gravity lies directly within that point. This is all about this chapter. This was the last lecture on laws of motion. In this, we had discussion on n number of things, starting with couple moment. Starting with impulse. need of impulse, then torque, couple, moment of couple, their properties, then center of mass, its velocity, acceleration and characteristics, and last one, center of gravity. This chapter is very important according to your theory concepts, because of chapter will be there for 10 marks in your question paper. Go through this, try to solve numericals of all chapters. For any doubt, we are always there. I hope you understood these all concepts. I'll stop here for now. Thank you.